Things are gonna get crazy!
Most everyone's mad here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another fun-filled episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. How are we all doing, everyone? I hope you're all doing well, and I hope you all had a nice weekend, because I know it's been quite a wild one for animation fans, especially with the big debut of the pilot of Ross O'Donovan's Game-O-Verse. Trust me, as a Game Grumps fan myself, I know that it's been quite a long time that Ross has been working on the project, so I just want to go and give a quick congratulations for the work that he and his team has done on that pilot, and hopefully it will have a bigger and brighter future. But anyways, back to what I'm here to go and talk about. Yes, this is AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, where I am here to go and deliver some of the big and wildest news that has happened in the world of animation and entertainment. But also, I do want to go and put out a little bit of a quick update that this is not going to be the only stream that I will be doing this week. Yes, there will be one at some point that I'll do another round of Animat plays of Mouse PI for Hire. I will go and make an announcement on that later on social media when I know when the specific date that I can have the time to go and do that. But also, tomorrow, specifically on Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, come back here on Twitch, to which I will go and do another episode of What's in the Box. Yes, I have gotten a whole bunch more of your letters and packages, and I'll be ready to go and open them and see what's inside soon. And of course, at the same time, right after I do that little round of What's in the Box, I will stick around and I'll do a bit of an AMA. So whatever questions you people may want to go and ask me, feel free to do so. It's all going to be a really nice time. But for this one, however, for what I'm doing now with AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, oh, this is also going to be a whole bunch of fun, especially with some of the big announcements and especially with some of the reveals and the news we're going to go and talk about. Believe me when I say that I am definitely excited for this one. And by the way, quick side note, thank you so much, Omid, for being the new fish starting things off in this episode. So without further ado, it is now time that I shall go, and I'm going to go and ask the chat wall, and I want to ask you all, are you ready for today's episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, everyone. Who is ready for this? All right, so let me see. Who is ready now? And yes, I do see some people mentioning about what happened to Tom Kane, and minor spoilers for this episode. Yes, there will be a segment that I will talk about that, so I'll let you know about it. But I just want to know who is ready now. And now, with that said, it is now time that we shall go and get things started. And with our first story that I have for you today, we're going to go and check out a teaser trailer. Well, they say a teaser trailer, but it's definitely big for something that is called a teaser. But then again, so is the movie that we're about to get into, because my God, I think it's been quite a long time since we've had a stop motion animated feature that is on this scale, let alone its anticipation being on a massive scale. And we've gotten little taste before, but now we're going to have our first true look at what is in store with this feature. So without further ado, let us go ahead and begin this by checking out the teaser trailer for the upcoming LAIKA movie, Wildwood. And that was Wildwood, to which the movie is going to be coming out on October 23rd. Now, one thing I will say is that when I mentioned that, okay, so this is a little big for a teaser, I just meant in regards to the size of it. And, ooh, another new fish. Oh, and apparently it's a gifted new fish. Oh, wow. Very nice right there. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, so at 2 minutes and 30 seconds, that is definitely big for something that is just referred to as a teaser. But when it comes to what is inside, I do see how it can be categorized as a teaser, considering that it doesn't necessarily reveal a whole lot of what is in store, but you do get like little snippets and little tastes of like a variety of different scenes, a variety of like the kind of magic that is going to be in store. And especially, I might as well go and start this off by saying that the heart is very prevalent, because you're going to see many people go and compare this to Jim Henson's Labyrinth, especially when it has a plot line where it's about this adolescent girl who has to go and save her baby brother and enter into this magical world. So, of course, like, you definitely got like the parallels of the foundation of what those two features are about. But when you look into the actual feature and the kind of magic that they would go and deliver, it is definitely different. And I will say, one thing that honestly amazed me with this Wildwood teaser is how it presents the world to be so big. Even like when it comes to the ordinary world, like when we see the main characters just going along in Portland, because that is the main setting of this. And I mean, it is LAIKA, so they want to do a big homage to the city where they are based on. And you see like this entire world, like you see just over here, just the sheer scale of how they presented the entire area. Like, it is impressively massive. I don't know if they have also done like some forced perspective shots in order to help with that. And oh, wow, is this another new fish going on? Wow, that's awesome. But anyway, sorry, I got distracted there. But yeah, so like you could see how like they are presenting the place as big. And even when you go and take a look at what's inside the magical world, like there are some shots like, holy crap, they could be epic as well. Like there's one moment where we see a war is about to go and start. Like, yeah, this one right over here where you see all the warriors that are going after the battalion wolves. And from there, you just see as the main character is just watching, and then you see like this shot. Like, holy crap. And this is why I mentioned that the scale of this is so massive, and it's very rare that you would ever find this in a stop motion animated feature. I know some people have mentioned like, oh, what about like the Aardman stuff? And like, yeah, they can get pretty big as well. But this big, however, I feel like it would massively be debatable. I think the last time that a stop motion animated feature was even on this scale to begin with, I would say it's probably with, well, the previous LAIKA films like Kubo and the Two Strings and Missing Link. And since we are on the subject of the animation also, it's not just the scale that makes it impressive, but also in terms of like the craftsmanship in itself, like when these characters actually come to life and all the different designs. Like another great shot I remember seeing is like when they open the door and suddenly they get into this exclusive club that it's not just with people, but you see like a bunch of anthropomorphic animals, in which suddenly we're in this random Zootopia sequel in which now humans would suddenly go and get involved with this. And like you see the variety, like you see a little bit of like the different characters that they would go around, and maybe that poodle might actually play a bigger role. And this is not to mention also just realizing, especially when like, of course, the big eagle or the big bird, basically the general, as the character is actually called, which I believe will be played by Angela Bassett. And of course, like, you get the beautiful flying shot that's going on here. It's just amazing. Like, so far, just the sheer imagination, just from both the concepts and the execution with what they are presenting here, is just absolutely stunning. And the heart, so far, I feel like it is very strong. And that's another thing. Like, I know I mentioned a little bit about the Labyrinth comparisons, but honestly, I feel like the most powerful moments in this is actually in the first half, where you got the contrast between the relationship between the main character and her baby brother, which I believe the main character is named Prue, if you could correct me if I'm wrong there. And then there is also the villain, in which we see her tragic backstory, in which she had a son, and I believe is like a mechanical son or something, and decided, nope, I'm ending it, I'm out, bye. You know, like, that part. Like, you look into the opening and you see like how everything is like, it's bright and colorful with the baby brother. You know, they're just going along in, just in the city of Portland, just having a good time. And then you also got, oh, excuse me, this is just a teaser and it's already getting me choked up. Nah, I'm just fooling around. But then you also got like this sad part over here, which, like, you see the shots are just absolutely gloomy. It's almost like monochrome, and even just like you see the main character like just about to stop, and then like the boy looks back, and then suddenly like he ain't crying tears, like his tears are way too dark. And I'm sure this is a mechanical kid, by the way, because there's like one quick little shot. I'll see if I could go and find it, but it's like somewhere like near the end, in which let's see if I could go and find it. Hold on a sec, because I know there's like one shot in which he literally tries to rip his skin out, and like you see literally all the mechanical things that are inside. I just want to be sure if I can find it, or if I can locate it, because like, yeah, this one right over here, it's shot the same way. It's the same kind of monochrome, and you see like the kid's just ripping out like his mechanical heart, like right over here. So this will definitely get me very curious to know how the backstory is going to be. But so far with this teaser, it promised us that there's going to be a lot of heart, and we're just going to be fully immersed into this wonderful world with what they are presenting with the animation. Now, with all that said, though, as you could tell, I'm definitely fully impressed, and it definitely got me very hyped up for what's to come with Wildwood. There is one thing that I have to question, though, and it's something that for me feels like it makes no sense at all. And this is not regarding the teaser itself. It's not regarding the movie whatsoever, but rather I need to go and ask, how the fridge did this teaser on YouTube get so many freaking views? I don't know if you could go and see it, but it says here that, okay, yeah, like I will say the framing of it in my like on my side, it's not necessarily the best, but if you go to the teaser trailer on YouTube, you'll find that it has collected over 87 million views. And let me just go and quickly refresh just so we can get like an update on that. So yeah, like it still states that as I'm recording this, it's about 88 million views, which is ridiculous. And it's not just on YouTube where it got like millions upon millions of views. Even on stuff like apparently Instagram and TikTok. Last I checked, or a friend of mine has also checked out and told me about it, that so far the amount of views they got in there are around 50 million. I could be wrong on that, but it's like over, like so far, like the indicators would say like it's above that. And that right there honestly has me weirded out, and I'm like, I'm more like perplexed by it than I was actually amazed, because you would think that a teaser trailer getting that many views would really have people talking about it. Like, that would honestly make this possibly the most anticipated movie for the rest of the year. Like, right now, as I'm recording this, people would go and discuss about Wildwood as much, if not even more, than what they are talking about right now with the Gameoverse. And with that said, like, you would expect that there would be so many articles as well talking about how there would be so many records that this would go and break. Because I cannot think of any other feature film out there that would go and amass like those amount of views that they would go and collect right there. Like, you would think that they would make articles about like, oh, this thing broke the record for this many views in 24 hours and all that kind of stuff, but there's none. Like, honestly, there isn't any that I could go and find. And what makes it extra suspicious is the amount of other engagement that it would go and get, specifically with the amount of comments and likes, because this managed to get a very good amount. Like, it did very well. Like, as I'm recording this, it got over 10,000 comments and over 213,000 likes, which is great, which is honestly fantastic. A trailer getting that is an absolute win right there. But if we go and contrast that to another trailer, that's when you'll see something is a bit off. And in this case, I want to bring up Spider-Man Brand New Day, because safe to say that as it is a Spider-Man MCU movie, it is easily one of the most anticipated films of the summer. And this trailer here, even though it was released 2 months ago, it didn't even get half of what Wildwood got, in which, as I'm recording this, has around 34 million views. But if we look at the engagement, it got multiple times more, in which this trailer got over 938,000 likes and around 44,000 comments. So that's where, honestly, I feel like it's a bit conflicting. And I feel like in the case of Wildwood, I don't know where the fridge that those numbers come from, but I feel like there's something a bit off. I was thinking maybe there's some kind of weird glitch in YouTube's system in order to overinflate the numbers, or maybe it's because, considering that LAIKA and Fathom Events, they've really been pushing the marketing onto this. And maybe if you see the Wildwood teaser as an ad, maybe it does count as a view onto this video. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just can't help but feel like there's just something very weird that's going on with the amount of views and engagement that it would get. There's just something that, I don't know, as a YouTuber, I'm just thinking about how there's something that there's something that I feel like it's a bit off here. But anyways, that's just a little weird rant that I want to go and get. And again, this doesn't reflect upon the trailer itself, because I gotta say, the teaser is absolutely beautiful. And yes, it did indeed work to make me more and more anticipated for what is to come with Wildwood. It is easily one of my most anticipated animated films of the year. That's going to be coming up. So if you guys are excited for this, then keep in mind that the movie is going to be coming out on October 23rd. And with that said, now I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, what do you all think about the Wildwood teaser trailer? Did you guys like it? Do you have any criticisms about it? And why don't we go and actually have something fun here, and let's go and make a poll. So I just want to go and write down, did you enjoy the Wildwood trailer? So I'll go and write down yes, and then I'll write down no, and now we'll see what the chat has to say here. All right, so let's see. Well, this looks like an interesting movie. I'm still hesitant about seeing it because of the working conditions at LAIKA. I want to know how the workers are doing, but then again, I'm still seeing Pixar movies. This movie looks like it will be worth the wait after 7 years, but still. Yeah, honestly, I don't blame you, considering, yes, it is unfortunate that There have been some very infamous working conditions that have been going on at LAIKA, like the stuff that you hear about with Pixar. Some people would argue that it is kind of worse with what's happening at LAIKA, considering that, well, since it is owned by the billionaires with the Knights, whether it be Phil Knight and Travis Knight and stuff like that, of course, like they would go and immediately bust unions as much as possible. So yeah, that is definitely a concern, and hopefully there can be a report in which maybe there can be anonymous animators that can go and talk about in regards to these working conditions. But I don't know. Hopefully something can be brought up. But for now, though, I will say, like, in terms of the movie itself, I'm definitely hyped up for it. But I do hope that it was ethically made, where the animators were at least treated decently during production. All right, let's see. I could say with confidence that this looks amazing, and it's great seeing LAIKA back with an animated film again in 7 years. And the fact that this got so much views on social media might boost its chance of being a great hit, especially for an original stop-motion animated film. However, as great as the teaser is, I have been seeing some toxic comments from the animation community for how they think that Disney and Pixar has no chance for winning Best Animated Feature because of this. Really? Are people still like obsessing over that kind of crap? Remember when those same people would go and say that they don't care about like the Oscars or awards and stuff like that? Like, and then suddenly now that, oh, well, Disney is not really winning, and then suddenly though it really matters to them. Like what kind of grifting mentality is that kind of bullcrap? Like, really, that's just cringe. But then again, this is probably from like places on like Twitter, like the kind where honestly people who can't stop living in the past, like that's where it happens. So really that's when they don't matter. And really that's just cringe. That's honestly just stupid. Like if that's honestly your big concern, then really you have a bit of a problem. And this is why nowadays the Disney hate is uncool. Like, honestly, this is why even watching stuff like Wish and Lightyear is more enjoyable than listening to any of those cringy AI users. So anyways, let's get back into this over here. And let's see what other comments are there to go and say. Oh, actually, it is also worth mentioning that it is unanimous, and it looks like 100% of people who have voted have indeed said that the Wildwood trailer is great. There's not a single person who voted for no, so yeah, it definitely did its job well. All right, let's see what else we got here. Possibly best animation film of the year incoming, but for real though, this looks like it's going to be epic. The animation is some of LAIKA's best. It got me emotional with the relationship of Prue and the little brother, and it's really big on scale. The teaser trailer got me hyped for this movie in October and deserves that 87 million views. LAIKA is back, baby. All right, let's see. This trailer was worth the wait and then some. The animation in particular is dazzling. The scale of the world in particular, I have to ask, is that all a model set? The meat of the trailer itself is also phenomenal, giving off a lot of the same intrigue and majesty seen in Kubo. This is not just going to be a must-watch, but I think I found what movie I want to watch on my birthday. Wait, it comes out the day after? Damn it. Hey, I don't blame you, honestly. Like, this is coming out a few weeks after my birthday. I would love to go and see Wildwood on my birthday. That would honestly be absolutely epic. But alas, we gotta wait a little bit longer for that. And honestly, knowing LAIKA, I think when it comes to those sets, like, a lot of it, like, the thing is that they really do things practical. And when it comes to, like, even like in terms of the settings, like they will go and make things huge. I mean, with Kubo and the Two Strings, like they made their biggest puppet with that red skeleton. So honestly, with those sets, I'm sure they're legit practical, but most likely, I would say at the very least. All right, I'll read one more comment and then we're going to go on to our first break. Let's see now. LAIKA's films are always visual feasts for the eye, and this looks amazing. Contrast is something that I strive for in animation, and the differences between light, light and colorful and dark and melancholy. I also get heavy Labyrinth vibes. Whether it'll be a story or the bond between the Prue and her brother, LAIKA always shines with their movies, and this could also shine. All right, so there definitely is a lot of excitement and a lot of hype going on with Wildwood, and honestly, I completely understand because I'm right there with you all. So if you are hyped up to go and check out this movie, then keep in mind that the film will be coming out on October 23rd. And with that said, we are going to go on to our first break, and when we return, we will go and take a look at an animated movie that at one point we thought it was canceled, and it wasn't that long ago we thought it would, but now it is getting a second chance. That doesn't mean that it's saved, but a second chance is still pretty good. What do I mean by that? Well, I will go and tell you right after this. Welcome back. Now, when it comes to our next story, we will go back into the news about Matt Brawley's canceled movie. Now, you may recall back in February, Matt Brawley, the creator of Amphibia, revealed that the movie that he was working on at Sony Pictures Animation, to which he co-wrote the script with Rebecca Sugar, was unfortunately canceled, and it happened back in early 2025. And it was a very unfortunate moment, and it really goes to show, it was one of the most prominent examples of how all these animation studios, or at least the major ones in Hollywood, they're pretty much the same. Like, if you're upset that Pixar canceled the Be Fry movie, then this right here is really no different with how Sony Animation just decided to cancel Matt Brawley's movie because they think, it doesn't look marketable, whatever, let's scrap it, even though he already worked on it for 2-3 years on the whole thing, and all that effort was for naught, sadly. So yeah, it definitely was an unfortunate moment, and I can imagine how it was absolutely crushing for Matt Brawley, which is why he decided to move on to go and create his own independent animated series with the upcoming Clara and the Below, which was a major hit on Kickstarter. And not to mention, that is one that, of course, animation fans are hyped up for it, especially as it is going to be more mature and it will present a horror-themed Nutcracker story with that one, or at least a lot darker of a Nutcracker story that is going to be in store. However, believe it or not, even though it's been about 3 months since the cancellation, or that Matt Brawley revealed that it was canceled, it turns out that there is an update to it. Believe it or not, it actually got a second chance. So with that said, let's go and discuss about Afterworld. And yes, it even got a title, which I will go and discuss a little bit later. But yes, it turns out that Matt Brawley has revealed that his movie has now gotten a second chance, not from another animation studio, but rather, not from an animation studio like in Hollywood or even in the US, but rather from the country in which the movie wants to go and honor, in Thailand, specifically with Monk Studios. Now, before I continue, I want to go into this article of Animation Magazine, in which this one really goes and quickly highlights about the whole cancellation and what happened. So just to give you a little bit more details, it says here, while Brawley wrote in his social media announcement that he had learned of the cancellation in early 2025, it wasn't until he went public with the news and shared a spate of VizDev artwork, including character designs by Amphibia and Owl House veteran Brandon Wu, that word got out about the lost chance to see a major animated motion picture inspired by Thai folklore and mythology. This, Brawley told The Wrap this week, struck a chord with animation lovers in the land of smiles. It was all over Thai social media that Hollywood had passed on a Thai-infused cultural story, which I think is something that, people over there, when they see films like Moana or whatever, everybody's thinking, oh, do Thailand next, he told the outlet. So it did definitely cause some controversy, especially in Thailand, where they almost had a movie for them in the same way that, you know, Polynesians had Moana, then you got Colombians got Encanto, and Koreans got K-pop Demon Hunters. Thai people almost got that, but then suddenly Sony decided, screw it, we don't want it anymore. So, of course, it definitely stirred a lot of controversy there, and even outside of that as well. But yes, going back into the factor that this was saved by, well, this got a second chance by Monk Studios. And to give you a little bit of a summary of who those people are, it states here that the movie has found its new home at the Monk Studios. The Bangkok-based animation and visual effects shop had already expressed interest in doing front-end service work on the projects while it was still at Sony Pictures Animation, according to Brawley, and has previously provided support services for Sony Pictures Animation's Wish Dragon, Paramount Animation's The Tiger's Apprentice, and Chengdu Coco Cartoon and Beijing and Light Pictures box office record obliterating Nausea 2. So basically, this studio has already done some extra animation work for some other studios. They've already collaborated on with Sony on Wish Dragon. They did a bit of The Tiger's Apprentice, and of course, easily the biggest movie they've worked on and the biggest animated feature ever so far, Nausea 2. So they've already been proven to be more than qualified to go and work on this project. But it is worth noting, however, why is it that I keep saying that it got a second chance and not that it is full on saved? What would be the difference? Well, Matt Brawley on Twitter actually did provide a bit of an explanation on that. And I just got to go over here. So to read what Matt Brawley stated, he said, "To be transparent, the film is not funded or in official production. In fact, Monk will be at Annecy this year looking for potential partners and investors. However, there is a lot of buzz around this project already, fueled entirely by your public outcry earlier this year. Monk will also be setting up a production diary for the project, which you can follow on Twitter and on Instagram. This is not a crowdfunded project, but your enthusiasm and word of mouth can only help them as they strive towards a green light. For my part, I am fully dedicated to Clara and the Below for the foreseeable future. Of course, if Monk can secure the means to produce this film, they will bring me on to direct, but realistically, that is some time off. Monk is best known for their stellar work on films like Wish Dragon and Nausea 2. They are fantastic people and have assured me that no generative AI will be used on this film whatsoever." And then he would go and continue to go and describe some extra things. So please join me in supporting them as they give this story another chance. It's a long shot, but your support has made a huge difference already. It's because of you that we are even where we are. And then he would go and describe a little bit of some of the new things that have been revealed. Like, first and foremost, you got the title. Now it is being called Afterworld, in which it actually says, in fact, I'm going to go and switch things up to over here on Animation Magazine because it has a little bit more of a longer description and a better description in terms of what the title is, because it's not just Afterworld. There's also a little bit of additional writing at the bottom where, well, a bit of Thai writing where it's actually Afterworld Glaban, which it says here, it means go home in Thai. It carries two meanings. A boy runs away before a life-changing operation and finds himself in the world of Thai spirits. He needs to go home. And for this project, a Thai story is finally returning to Thailand to the culture it came from, both meaning belong to this film. So now with this project, as it is like a movie that's all about Thai culture and Thai mythology and stuff like that, it went back home. Now it is in Thailand to go and be produced. And not to mention, we also got this concept poster right over here, in which this was actually done by Brandon Wu, and it takes all the concepts of the characters that we have seen in this concept art from before, and now just put it all together to kind of highlight this story in this one poster to go and present what this is all about with Afterworld. So from here, this is definitely exciting to hear. It's kind of like with what we have heard with Nimona, for example, except now the timeline of it is a little bit faster. Now, like, it went pretty quickly in terms of, oh, it's lost forever, it's canceled, and then suddenly, oh, now it is saved. Well, not just Nimona, because like that's just a direct example in terms of being a full-on animated movie. Like, some people could even go and compare that to something like Coyote vs. Ugly, where it's mainly because of the public outcry and the public backlash of this decision to go and cancel it is what helped go and get this to have a second chance. Now, to go into that, by the way, the fact that it's just getting a second chance. Now, this is something that you got to go and keep in mind, that this is not fully 100%. Because right now, the true test is going to be at Annecy, when it's going to go and set itself up to see if there's going to be any buyers, if there's going to be another major studio that may go and step in to see if they can go and turn that into an animated film so that they can go and distribute it themselves. Maybe it could be Netflix that could step in, and maybe they'll give Afterworld a shot, because generally it feels like the strongest candidate. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix would be the one who will go and say, hey, I want Afterworld to happen. Hey, do it for us. We'll go and distribute it and all that kind of stuff. So that could be a possibility right there. Or maybe we'll see maybe another distributor or another major studio that could actually show some major interest. Maybe it could be Paramount. Maybe it could be Warner Brothers. Maybe it could be Universal. Maybe it could be Disney. I don't think it would be Sony, because honestly, it would be stupid for them to be like, oh, we're not going to do it anymore. Actually, we changed our minds. We're going to go and do it. I don't know. That feels like an absolutely dumb move right there. So it's all going to be a matter of a wait and see. And I think, honestly, Matt Brawley is kind of doing the smart move right now, where he's not going to go and immediately put his hopes up that now this is actually going to be happening. This is going to be saved. Because, like, at least he does have Clara and the Below that can be, like, his backup plan. That's going to be his project that, for now, he's just going to go and focus on. Considering that, again, it was massively successful at Kickstarter. And I believe it even says, is there even something that would say something about... Oh, yeah, like, it even says right over here on this article on Animation Magazine that apparently with Clara and the Below, it actually got around $443,000 raised in order to go and make this project. And so far, they're promising that at least the first episode, or the first chapter, is going to be airing on YouTube this Christmas under Fantasy Project. So the thing is, right now, the main plan is that Matt Brawley is just going to be focusing on Clara and the Below. He's just going to be fixed on trying to work on that. So at least that way, we know what he's going to do. He has an animated project that he's going to go and work on. So at least, like, that's going to be his main thing. Now, the best case scenario would be if suddenly there is someone willing to go and produce it, someone willing to go and give the funds to Afterworld, and suddenly that feature would go and get a second chance, and then suddenly, well, his focus is going to go and shift onto that project to work on Afterworld so that he can go and be the director. So either way, Matt Brawley does have an animated project to go and work on. On one hand, if it does get funded, then great. Matt Brawley can go and actually be the director on that. he can work on it, and finally that project will be saved and then get released. If not, however, if the worst case scenario occurs where nobody is really that interested in funding it, nobody is really that interested in working on the project, well, I mean, like, nobody's interested in really bringing this to life, so it may end up ultimately canceled altogether, then, well, it's not going to be that big of a loss because Matt Brawley has already moved on and he already has Clara and the Below that he can go and work on. Now, in my opinion, do I want to go and see this happen? Yeah, sure. I mean, with all the concepts that Matt Brawley has presented, and even with, like, not just that, but it's a project that he and Rebecca Sugar has actually collaborated on, and considering their works with Amphibia and Steven Universe and stuff like that, like, I will admit, as an animation fan, it did definitely get me interested. And not to mention, like all the concepts and even the poster that they have presented with all the different characters that are being shown here. Like, I can absolutely see the potential where it could bring us to a very imaginative world, like, not to mention very colorful, very vibrant, very fantasy oriented, like something that will really lean a lot on Thai culture. That's going to be very fascinating to see, like, all the folklores and the mythologies that are going to be coming to life. So honestly, I would definitely be interested to see how this movie is going to be and if it could turn out to be good or not. So yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how it's going to be. And, like, honestly, I would definitely be down to see if there is going to be a company that would go and actually pick this up. Now, is that actually going to happen? I think only time will tell. And ultimately, I believe Annecy is going to be next month. So we're just going to have to wait until then if there is going to be a company that will pick this up. And even at that, well, we'll still have to wait a few more years until this thing would ultimately get produced. But overall, though, I will say this is definitely some good news regardless. It's definitely nice to see that this project can definitely get a second chance. And who knows? But all we could do now is just wish it the best of luck. And we'll see if maybe Afterworld will finally become a thing in the future. And with that said, now I would like to go and pass this on to the chat wall. And I want to go and ask you all, what do you all think about Afterworld getting that second chance? Do you think that it will actually happen? Do you think that there will be a time in the future we will see this movie be completed and released? Or do you think it won't really occur and Matt Brawley is just going to put his focus on Clara and the Below? In fact, why don't we go and actually make a poll on that? Let's go and make things interesting. And now I want to go and ask you to see if that would be the case. I will go and ask, do you think Afterworld will get made and released? Let's see. We'll write down yes, and then we'll write down no, and then we'll see what the chat wall has to say. All right. This is definitely a big win. Seeing that this movie has a chance to be saved, especially after it was unfortunately canceled, is a major win, and I do hope this movie will see the light of day. And I can imagine this being being similar to what happened with both Nimona and Coyote vs. Acme. And regardless of how this movie turns out, we should be glad that we have a chance to even get this movie to begin with. You know what? That's very fair. That's actually a very good argument. All right. I'm glad Afterworld is getting a second chance. I'm always confused about the rights issues with original works and whether they could be sold or trade or who owns what. Honestly, I like the concept of this story, and whether it's a movie or show, I hope for the best for this movie. I still need to watch Amphibia, but I hope that they find the fundings for Afterworld, and I'm glad Brawley still has a variety of choices. No, definitely. Like, either way, Matt Brawley is definitely going to be fine. And either which project he's going to work on, he'll have something that will be anticipated that he's going to go and create. Let's see now. Well, I didn't see this coming, but considering it's a project canceled, now back in production, well, not officially back, but anyways, the only difference is that many of them had time and patience. However, I'm not holding my breath for Afterworld since his Kickstarter would be more interesting. I still wish Matt Brawley the best, either working on Clara and the Below or Afterworld. All right, let's see now. I'm so happy for Matt Brawley and Rebecca Sugar for having their own project coming back from the dead and hopefully have a happy ending. I did apologize to Rebecca Sugar about what happened a couple of months ago, so yeah, this looks promising based on what we have heard about this. Hopefully it goes well for Matt and Rebecca. Also, did you see I gave flowers to Jennifer Lee? She absolutely loved it. I did congratulate her on the release of her graphic novel. Yes, I did see that on social media. That is honestly very nice. Not to mention getting a picture with her husband as well, which, fun fact, if you guys don't know, Jennifer Lee is married to Alfred Molina. There we go. Yes, Doc Ock himself. So yeah, no, definitely awesome on you, John. Awesome on you right there. Let's see. By the way, I hope you don't mind I call you John. Let's see what else we got. This is very promising news. This project always sounded like it had potential, and if Nimona came back and became amazing, hopefully this can be fully saved and can do the same. I just hope that since this is the studio that did Noja 2, the animation community still doesn't use this as an attack on other studios and movies, especially the self-proclaimed AniMat sucking Disney shitter emoji talk. Wait, what? Emoji talks? Seriously, that guy is honestly insufferable. What the heck? Did someone unironically call me that? What the heck? And apparently, oh wow, this is another one where the poll is unanimous. But it says here that, well, all of you have again voted yes and seem to be very enthusiastic that Afterworld will find the funds and will get released. Oh, wow. So, wow, definitely a bunch of optimistic people right over here. Wow, that is amazing. But anyways, yeah, honestly, just going back into the comment here, it's just, what the heck is going? Yeah, I don't know what the heck is that comment, but yeah, I'm not gonna deal with that kind of nonsense drama. Like honestly, like I have more important things to do than to deal with that kind of like terminally online nonsense. Let's see. It's alive! It's alive! Oh, wait, it's not greenlit yet. At least the scrap film is saved by Thai-based animation studio and hoping that they find some distribution at Annecy next month and start the production if that happens. Now, someone needs to save Beef Fry from Pixar because, come on, those female characters look badass. I don't know why they think the boys don't watch female movies. I'm looking at you, Pete Docter or Iger. Yeah, I don't know. Like when it comes to the ones from Disney, though, like they're a lot more secure, or they're a lot more of a tight grip when it comes to the stuff that is in production in there, even in terms of the ones that ultimately get canceled. I mean, yeah, it's one thing with Nimona, but then again, that's like more of a different story, considering that it was from Blue Sky and stuff like that. And well, safe to say that Disney didn't really care that much about having Blue Sky in their roster. So in that regard, it managed to like get away and actually fully get produced. But in terms of Beef Fry, I don't think those chances are high, because even if it is canceled, Disney still has the rights to that concept right there. Like, I'm sure they got like tight contracts to go and like secure on that. All right, I'll go and read one more comment here. And it states, I'm really happy about this. I'm guessing we won't be getting it sooner, but I'm eager to learn what this film will be about. Considering the reputations of Matt and Rebecca, I believe this will be one of the best collaborations for making movies. I just hope that whoever distributes it has the right mindset to actually give the film a chance, as Thai culture has great shows, but not many movies. This could be exciting. Ah, nice. All right. So definitely a lot of enthusiasm, even though it's not 100% yet that it is going to be funded, it is going to be produced and stuff like that. But it's great to see that people are happy to know that this is going to be getting a second chance. All right, so we're going to go on to our next break right now. And when we do return, well, this is a bit of a last-minute addition here. But sadly, the tone is going to go a little bit lower, considering that we will be honoring a voice acting legend who has unfortunately passed away. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back. Now, originally, I was prepared to go and talk about another animated feature that was considered to be lost and then got a second chance with the sequel to The Adventures of Tintin. And I was ready to go and discuss about the possibility of having it return and like when it would be coming out and all that kind of stuff and a little bit of its history. But just this morning, as I am recording this, there was a bit of a breaking news that occurred, and this is one that honestly was a bit of a shock for animation fans, and still quite a shock to this day, because this is a person whom, I'll say right now, if you've watched a cartoon in the 2000s, or that if you grew up in the 2000s, you have seen at least one project that included this guy over here. And I will even say myself, yeah, I've definitely seen a bunch of stuff that included his voice, especially with how familiar, you know, how distinctly familiar that it can be. And I will say that, yeah, it is definitely quite a sad loss. So with that said, let's go and discuss about the passing of Tom Kane. Yes, Tom Kane, the prolific voice actor behind numerous of shows, movies, video games, franchises, and many, many more, has sadly passed away at the age of 64. Now, what happened was that you may have recalled back in late 2020, I believe it was specifically November of 2020, when Tom Kane unfortunately suffered a stroke, and it pretty much made the entire right side of his body just non-functional. So at that point, he sadly had to go into an early retirement. And from there, his kids would go and provide updates on his health and how things are going. And even though he could no longer do voice acting, he still showed up in conventions and meeting fans and stuff like that. He was still great to be around and great to meet and stuff like that. But it wasn't until recently when the stroke did cause complications and he unfortunately has passed, which is what we have heard today. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with who Tom Kane is, as I said before, he is one of the most prolific actors who have worked, at least during his time. And back in like the early 2000s, like some of the 90s even, like he was one of those voices that was just about everywhere. And probably the most common place where you would go and hear him is actually in Cartoon Network, in which probably his most well-known role was actually in the Powerpuff Girls, where he played as Professor Utonium, as well as numerous of other characters in the show itself. Like he was also the voice of him. He also played the talking dog, as well as several others as well. In fact, I actually got his not IMDb, but his Wikipedia page, and this pretty much highlights all the stuff that he has done. And you'll see, like, this is like a never-ending list of shows, movies, games, and so much more that he provided the voice, especially like video games. My God, he has a massive list. So like talking about like what he has done with Cartoon Network, for example. Well, of course, he did the Powerpuff Girls, but then at the same time, he was also in Cow Chicken. He was in Johnny Bravo. He did Ben 10. He did Codename Kids Next Door and The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. And not to mention, he was also in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, where he was the voice of Mr. Harriman, and just and like so much more. Like and oh, Star Wars. Okay, I'll might as well also get into Star Wars, because that's also one of the biggest things that he actually voiced. He was very prominent in terms of lending his voice throughout the Star Wars franchise. And probably his most iconic role that he has played was actually in Genndy Tartakovsky's Star Wars Clone Wars, where he was actually the voice of Yoda and actually did a pretty solid impersonation. Like, he did very well to go and emulate what Frank Oz did in those movies. And this is not even to mention, like, if you go down the list of all the video games he's done, you will see so many times that, like, just Star Wars just popping up. And he has also done, like, many different voices, not just like miscellaneous ones, but at the same time, like, he also did some iconic characters in there too, not just Yoda, but he was also in, like, he also did Boba Fett. He also did C-3PO. Even going down, like, you'll see, like, just 2002, like, he did several Star Wars games out there. And this is not even to mention, like, he also did other voices as well. Like, he even did a Lord of the Rings game where he was Gandalf, actually. And there was also Admiral Akbar that he provided the voice. And not just for that, by the way. He also worked on some of the movies as well, where he was Admiral Akbar in The Last Jedi, as well as being Admiral Akbar in the Star Tours ride. He was also Akbar in there too. And speaking of movies, another voice that you may recognize him from is actually the Sony Smurfs movies, where he was actually narrator Smurf. And this is not even to mention, like, some of the other things he has done outside of Cartoon Network and Star Wars. Like, you probably remember him also, like, with Disney, he was the voice of Lord Monkey Fist in Kim Possible, or even in Nickelodeon, actually. Like, another prominent role that he actually voiced was Darwin in The Wild Thornberrys. And not to mention, like, he was also in Cat Dog as Evil Eric, and this is just a handful of examples that he has done. And then, like, you also got other stuff like like he was also in Archer, where he was the voice of Woodhouse and Hans Hessler. And then, like, keep on going, like, you'll see, like, definitely a lot more, like, different Star Wars stuff that he would go and do his voice. But then at the same time, like, in video games, like, he also did a lot of Call of Duty, he did a lot of Call of Duty stuff as well. He was also in, like, he also did Warhammer games. He also was in, he did Batman Arkham Asylum, where he was also the voice of Jim Gordon. And I mean, he was also a part of, like, Marvel, where he did some Marvel games where he voiced, like, Ultron and Magneto and a few others as well. And I mean, the list goes on and on. I like, honestly, I could go on forever with the kind of with the voiceover roles that Tom Kane would go and do. Like, with everything that I've listed, you've probably recognized at least one of them. And the thing that makes Tom Kane really stand out as a voiceover actor is really the richness in his voice. Like, he has the kind in which it could really be multifunctional, where it's just naturally that announcer type voice that you would often go and hear, which he definitely made bank on that, by the way. Like, he has definitely done tons of different announcer jobs and narration jobs throughout the years. In fact, he has actually done some work as well, in which he was actually the announcer during the Academy Awards as well, on several occasions, by the way. He was the announcer at the Oscars back in 2006, 2008, as well as 2011 and in 2013. So, like, he has definitely done a lot of those voiceover works. So like he definitely has that kind of voice. In fact, I would even say like this is the go-to style of voice that you can imagine that is kind of this this narrator or announcy like voice. And just to go and highlight like a few examples, if we would just go and like, if we would take a listen, for example, like just, have a moment to go and hear like him as Professor Utonium, easily his most iconic role.
All our troubles seem so far away. Now it seems they're here to stay. What will Townsville do when they look for the girls with the sun in their eyes and they're gone?
The future.
I was just listening to that and I was like, what the frick is going on here? I know that there was one episode that they did a bunch of Beatles reference, but just hearing like Professor Utonium talking to the girls there, and I was just there like, wait a minute. Like, I get, okay, maybe this is like a heartfelt moment. No, this is just Professor Utonium just reading Beatles lyrics right there. But that is just one example. And like, you could like Professor Utonium, you could definitely hear that richness in his voice. And not to mention that even though it's very announcery, it can still work very well for characters. And that's why with Professor Utonium, he is often regarded as like one of the most beloved cartoon fathers out there, because like he definitely provided a lot of heart when it comes to taking care of the girls. And this is not even to mention about many of the other roles that he has done. Like, in fact, like since we got Yoda right over here, let's go and listen to like his role that he did.
It's not yours yet. Tempted I will not be.
Not bad, I gotta say. Like, that is a pretty solid, like, honestly, they picked a good one in terms of like getting someone else other than Frank Oz in order to do that voice. Like, that is honestly great. And then of course, like, we also got Darwin over here. Let's have a little bit of an example of that too.
Small yet charming. Not much in the way of natural light, but haven't we really had enough of nature?
Yeah, and that's honestly another great example, by the way, with Tom Kane, is that he also does very well in terms of having that sophisticated voice. And I wouldn't just say that with Darwin, but also with Mr. Harriman as well. Like, he does very well, like, with that kind of posh gentleman-like voice. Like, he nailed it, like, especially with those with those characters. And I just want to see if there are some other examples to go and see, because like there are definitely some great ones out there. Here, you know what? Like, let's have another one, like, just spice things up. Like, this is him, like, since I mentioned it, this is him as Jim Gordon in Arkham Asylum.
He's got something else down there. I don't know what it is.
Students are...
Oh, that's it. Wait, is that it? Just want to go and double check.
And listen, we're not alone. He's got something else down there. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay. So that literally was it then. Okay. Just want to make sure. But like, yeah. And he also like, he does well in terms of like the tough gruffness right there. And with that, and with the style of voice that he has, like, of course, like, naturally it's just very smooth, but he knows how to go and make it rough for characters like Jim Gordon right there. So that is honestly just one of the many examples that he would go and have in terms of the voiceover work that he would go and do. And I'm sure, like, I even see in the chat, like, some people are even bringing up like a lot of different examples that he would do, especially like with Disney. One that some people are even bringing up, for those of you who did grow up with DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff like that, some people have mentioned, yes, he was also the voice of Disney Fast Play. Whenever your DVD or your Blu-ray would go and tell you about the Fast Play feature, that was actually Tom Kane who would go and provide the voice. So yeah, like, as I said before, like, Tom Kane as a voice actor, he has such an admirable career. Like, he has the dream career for voice actors out there, where he's like a jack of all trades, where his voice is perfect for whatever is out there, rather it be for animation, rather it be for video games, like for character voices. He's got it good. He's got it good for narration. He's got it good. In fact, that would be another example I could go and show you. I'm not a fan of these movies at all, but I might as well go and just also highlight his narration work with what he has done with the Smurfs as well.
There is a place that knows no sadness.
See, like even there, like being a narrator or announcer, he nailed it. Like rather it be for promos, for commercials, for characters, for whatever, for whatever that you may need. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom Kane has maybe done audiobooks, because honestly, he has like a beautiful voice for that. I can imagine he would have he would definitely do well with audiobooks there, but he really, like I said, he has the kind of voice where it's just the jack of all trades. And it's really unfortunate, like not just the fact that he passed, but also that he had that stroke as well, that unfortunately took away that ability from him. It really is sad, honestly, because that he had a good few, he still had like a good amount of years on him to still provide the richness of his voice. And before I pass this on to you all, I might as well go and present a little thing that he has done. One that, honestly, this was also a big surprise for me. Like, I didn't know that was his voice, because before I always thought it was like Jeremy Irons or something, because with what I'm about to present to you, he does a British voice for some reason, but it is a very heartfelt one as well. And that is specifically for the Magic Kingdom nighttime show, Happily Ever After. So I just want to go and present to you a little message from Tom Kane himself, and just a little thing for you to remember him by, and something that, if you want to honor him, do what he says here.
And so our journey comes to an end, but yours continues on. Grab hold of your dreams and make them come true, for you are the key to unlocking your own magic. Now go, let your dreams guide you. Reach out and find your happily ever after.
Like I said, I always thought that was Jeremy Irons for some reason, but no, that actually was Tom Kane. And not to mention, by the way, with Happily Ever After, I just want to go just let out my Disney side, and I want to say top tier Disney nighttime music. Oh my God. It just hearing the whole show, it's just absolutely phenomenal. And not to mention, the song itself of Happily Ever After is definitely a banger itself. So yeah, just want to go and mention that. But anyways, with that said, now I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, do you have any memories in relation to a character with Tom Kane? Who is your favorite character voiced by Tom Kane, and what performance will you remember him by the most? So you can feel free to go and express your memories in the chat. Let's see now. Not something I wanted to hear on my birthday. People throw around legend a lot, but Tom Kane truly was one of the Mount Rushmore of voiceovers. From Professor Utonium and him in the Powerpuff Girls to Yoda, Yularen, and the Clone Wars narrator, his voice was everywhere. Also learning, he also voiced the Disney Parks Transportation and Happily Ever After. That image of him with his perfect little girls is from a few months back, makes it even more bittersweet. He'll be deeply missed, and may he rest in peace. Oh, that is true. That is true. I should show that, actually, because this was actually the last thing that was posted to him on Instagram. It's him and the original voices of the Powerpuff Girls all reunited. It was during a convention, I believe, and they're just all together, just hanging out with Tom Kane. It's it's sad to see right now, because he is gone, but it is also a very sweet one as well. All right, so let's see what we got in the chat also. Damn, this was a huge loss. Tom Kane was really a talented voice actor and was also a really caring father. And the fact that he passed away a month after reuniting with the cast of the Powerpuff Girls makes it more heartbreaking, but also very heartfelt that he got to see his girls one last time. May he rest in peace, and we will truly miss him. Yeah, definitely nice. Let's see. I will sorely miss Tom Kane. He's one of the goats of voice acting in the industry. I know him in the Powerpuff Girls and Kim Possible, but also in commercials and trailers as well. But I bet everyone will forever know him as the main announcer of Disney Fast Play. I and everyone are having finding the remote while Tom is giving up an option. But yeah, may he rest in peace. His career will forever live on in memory. He is undeniably legendary. You know, I think for me, like now thinking about it, like even though, yeah, like I'm definitely a Disney guy, but for me, I would say that the role that I'm going to remember him the most is easily going to be Professor Utonium. Like, yeah, like he's definitely done some other great performances like with him or even in other shows like with Mr. Harriet. But for me, I think like my top performance that is going to be the first thing I'll think about with Tom Kane is going to be Professor Utonium. Let's see now. What other comments do we have here? As an animation fan, I'm sad to hear that Tom Kane passed away today. I do remember his performance as the professor and others in Powerpuff Girls, Darwin in Thornberrys, Monkey Fist in Kim Possible, and Yoda also in trailers like Despicable Me and Mr. Peabody and Sherman. And yes, even the Disney Fast Play narrator, it's a very sad day. Rest in peace to him. He will be missed. Yeah, and that's another one right there. The fact, like, another thing he has done, yes, trailers. He definitely has that perfect announcery-like voice that is perfect for trailers. Oh, that's another good example. That's another great one right there. Let's see. Tom Kane was the voice of my childhood, from playing one of the best fathers in animation to playing Darwin, to him being mad as Monkey Fist, and the infuriating snobbiness of Harryman. I'll never forget his voice. I'll miss him like I miss Jeff Garcia. Just learning he died in my state makes me shocked. I hope his family is at peace. He's actually younger than my father. Yeah, honestly, same here. Like, it's kind of surprising. Like, he's also younger than my dad, and yet my dad is still up and kicking around, still highly active, and yet, it's unfortunate, man. It's sad. I'll say this now. He did not deserve it. He definitely did not deserve it. All right, let's see what other comments. This is definitely a tragic loss. Tom Kane was such a prolific voice actor who made a massive impact. For me, I'll definitely remember him as Professor Utonium in Powerpuff Girls, Yoda in the Clone Wars, and Darwin in the Wild Thornberrys. And I'll also remember him as the narrator for Disney Fast Play. And so all I have to say is rest in peace, Tom Kane, and may his legacy live on forever. Very nice, man. Very nice. Tom Kane was one of the best when it comes to the iconic voice actors. I love him as the professor, other Powerpuff Girls characters, and even voicing Yoda in the Clone Wars era. Even if I never met him, it's unfortunate he's now gone. We're all going to miss you, Tom Kane. May he rest in peace. Let's see. Oh, wow. We got definitely a lot more comments than I thought. Still got time to read a couple more. We have Brian Cummings and Mark Elliott and now Tom Kane as Disney announcers. Tom Kane is my favorite voice actor, and it's so sad to see him go. I enjoy his voice as Professor Utonium in the Powerpuff Girls, did trailers for WALL-E and Up for Pixar, did Disney Fast Play, and many more. He will be missed, and hopefully he will be in heaven with Mark Elliott. Nah, definitely, man. Definitely. Wherever Mark Elliott is, I'm sure Tom Kane is right behind him there. All right, I'll read, let's see if there's one more comment to go and read here. All right. Who could think of a role that Tom Kane hasn't played? The 2000s were truly a golden era for him, especially with his work on Star Wars content and Lego video games. He gave depth to his characters, even when he replaced other actors. Characters like Professor Utonium and Monkey Fist became iconic because of their unique portrayals. Not everyone can match that level of impact. May the Force be with him, and forever in peace. Yeah, so definitely sad to see him go, but hopefully his voice will forever live on through the hundreds of characters and the hundreds of works that he has done, rather it be with the Disney parks, Disney Fast Play, and trailers, narration works, and many, many more. Hopefully, we will never stop hearing his voice. All right, now with that said, we're going to go on to our next break. And don't worry, folks, I will go and lighten up the mood, because what else can we go and brighten things up after talking about this than Broadway? And I will promise you that this Broadway show I'll talk about, oh boy, it's gonna be weird. So stay tuned for that. Welcome back. Now, on our next story, yes, it's time to go and brighten things up and talk about a Broadway musical that's going to be in the works. Now, I know that some of you, maybe you're not that interested in what happens on stage compared to what happens on screen. In fact, it's a little bit bizarre for me to go and talk about a stage musical when this is AniMat's crazy cartoon cast. But there is a very good reason, and that is because of the subject that I will go and talk about, or the subject that this Broadway musical is going to be about. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, I just want to go and quickly mention, yes, I am aware of the breaking news that did just occur, that apparently Frank Welker and Matthew Lillard are going to be reprising their roles as Scooby and Shaggy, respectively, in the Scooby-Doo anime. What is it called? Yokoso Scooby-Doo or something like that? But apparently it's going to be coming out on Tubi in North America, and it's going to be coming out internationally on Cartoon Network. So just thought I would go and mention that and get that out of the way. Yes, I am aware. But we're not here to talk about the Scooby-Doo anime. We are here to go and talk about a weird Broadway musical. Okay, and yes, it is Yokoso Scooby-Doo. Yes, like I said, a weird Broadway musical, which will be brought to us by none other than the master of weird, Weird Al Yankovic. Yes, folks, there is indeed going to be a Weird Al Yankovic musical that's going to be coming to Broadway, but this is actually going to be not necessarily all about Weird Al. This isn't going to be like the Broadway adaptation of Weird the Al Yankovic story. It's not going to be that, or at least I think it's not going to be that. Instead, this is actually going to be a jukebox musical that will be featuring nothing but Weird Al songs. And yeah, as crazy as it sounds though, and even though it sounds like it's going to be chaotically hilarious, what's going to be happening behind the scenes, it's going to be quite serious, and they're going to make this a big full-on Broadway production, especially with the people that are going to be involved. So it's not just Weird Al, but at the same time, we also got the director of the Moulin Rouge musical, Alex Timbers, that's going to be a part of this. And the script is going to be written by Scott Brown and Anthony King, who previously wrote not just the Gutenberg the musical, but also the Beetlejuice musical as well. And even though we don't have any information in terms of what's going to be the story of this, who's going to be in the cast, and especially when this is going to be released, but we did get some info in terms of some of the songs that will be featured, to which in my source here on Playbill, it has confirmed that White and Nerdy, Amish Paradise, Eat It, Smells Like Nirvana, and Like a Surgeon is all going to be a part of this jukebox musical. And not to mention, by the way, that the production company Seaview is also going to be producing this. Now, we also got a couple of quotes that I would like to go and read you here. First one is going to be from Weird Al himself, in which he states, "Ever since I was a middle-aged man, I've always wanted to be a part of the New York theater community. Plus, the one thing people always say about Broadway is that it's severely lacking in Weird Al-based entertainment, and I think this musical should fix that problem immediately." Then at the same time, we also got a comment from the director, Alex Timbers, in which he states here, I first fell in love with Al's music with the release of Dare to be Stupid and have remained an avid fan ever since. Now it's a dream come true to work with one of my comedy heroes, bringing an original story set to his beloved songbooks to the stage. What Al, Anthony, and Scott are creating is unexpected, subversive, meta, and hilarious, and I can't wait for the world to experience it. So that's pretty much the big thing that we got here. And I want to go and tell you right now, for those of you who don't know, I am absolutely a huge fan of Weird Al. I even went on record and stated that Weird Al is honestly my favorite music artist. I remember, like, I was a kid back in the early 2000s, and it was in summer camp, and I was first introduced to him by listening to Amish Paradise, and it was actually very perfectly timed as well to get into Weird Al, because like I was listening to the songs like with Eat It and Amish Paradise and all that kind of stuff, and then suddenly came the release of Straight Out of Linwood, which included White and Nerdy, and suddenly, you know, enjoying Weird Al really became popular. So suddenly, like, we saw like the big boom of Weird Al during the 2000s there, and I came in just in time for that. And I've still been a big Weird Al fan ever since. In fact, it was only a few years back that I remember watching the biopic Weird, or like the biopic, I guess you could say, Weird, the Al Yankovic story, and I had an absolute blast with it. And I think Daniel Radcliffe honestly did a tremendous job playing the role. Like, honestly, taking like materials that are just absolutely absurd and stupid, but stupid in a good way, and like just taking it so seriously, it adds to the comedy. Like, he understood the assignment, and honestly, nowadays, yeah, I might as well ditch Harry Potter, because honestly, my go-to performance that I'll forever remember from Daniel Radcliffe is being Weird Al in the Al Yankovic story. So yeah, all this to say that I am a big fan of Weird Al. And when I heard about this Broadway musical happening, like, you bet that honestly, like, I was immediately excited for it. And I feel like the timing of that reveal is perfect as well, because with all the news that we have been getting lately, it has been quite depressing. And it honestly felt like a timeline cleanser to hear that there's gonna be a Weird Al musical. You know, like, after all the news you would hear about, like, all the different wars, all about the corruption that Trump is doing, and like all the different news of like the Supreme Court suppressing black voters and stuff like that, like how it's just been depressing in the world. And then suddenly you hear about something like this, and it's like, life has meaning again. No, but I will say though, honestly, looking into this and seeing the people who are going to be involved, honestly, they made such a great choice in terms of the writers and the director. Like with Alex Timbers, for example, like, he has already done a strong job with directing Moulin Rouge, since that was already a jukebox musical. And then trying to go and bring that to the stage, well, he managed to do it very well. So like, he knows how to go and handle jukebox musicals and how to present them brilliantly onto the stage. And that's why even to this day, the Moulin Rouge musical is still a massive hit. And then you also got the writers with Scott Brown and Anthony King, and considering their work with the Beetlejuice musical, and I know that's another one that like has a massive cult following. Like, it's one thing to be a fan of Beetlejuice, but then you got the crowd who loves the Beetlejuice musical. And there was a moment where I've seen on YouTube again and again where people would go and do animatics based on the musical numbers. It's like almost as much as Hamilton, where it was kind of a trend where people would go and create their own little animatics of some of the songs from Beetlejuice. That's how I became a little bit more familiar with some of the songs that are in there. So those guys know how to go and take like absurd concepts, like taking something like Beetlejuice and turn that into a musical. And then they and then like find great success with that as well. So in the case here, I could see how they got the materials needed to create a great Weird Al musical. And honestly, the one thing that I just want to go and ask right now is that I want this thing to be absolutely chaotic and to expect the unexpected. Because the thing that for me, what really worked with Weird the Al Yankovic story is the fact that it does not take itself seriously, and it just becomes so ridiculous with its concept. Like, it's aware of all the cliches and all the tropes that you would go and find in these types of musicals. And like, they know they're not going to go and like try to be accurate to the true story of Weird Al's success and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they'll take like little bits and pieces, like, you know, adding in like Dr. Demento as a character, but then they'll go and like make some ridiculous things in there. Like, you'll have Madonna who went from being Al's lover to like an absolute villain at the end. They'll throw in they'll throw in like random pop culture references to really emphasize that it is the 80s. Like, there was that one party where you see like all the different 80s icons like Elvira, Pee Wee Herman, Divine, and several others. Like, what really worked with the Al Yankovic story is the fact that it doesn't take itself seriously, and it just goes in such a ridiculous path to ultimately create a parody of these musical biopics. And ironically enough, it ultimately turns out to be one of the best musical biopics out there. I think, like, honestly, this might be a hot take, but as a movie, I think it works better than either Bohemian Rhapsody or the recent Michael movie that just came out. So it really worked out very well in its favor. And I'm hoping for the same thing for the musical. It's to not take itself seriously and to just be a straight up parody of what you would expect from a musical. Take those tropes and like flip them upside down and just make them funny, make them wacky, like make them enjoyable again in the way that Weird Al would know how to go and do it best. And I mean, considering that it's not necessarily about Weird Al and you're just making it about the song specifically, like, you got a lot of materials where you could go all over the place with it. Like, you could go just make it as, just make it as crazy, or no pun intended, just make it as weird as possible to see how you could go and like see what kind of crazy plot that you could go and connect with songs like White and Nerdy or Amish Paradise or like A Surgeon and stuff like that. Like, what kind of ridiculous way would you go and find like to connect these all together? And I mean, you don't have to have consistency. You don't have to have like something linear that's going on. That's kind of the beauty of it, because you don't have to take you don't have to take it seriously. Just go wild with it. Just be crazy. Like, whatever connection that you may try to do, regardless if it makes sense, regardless if there's any logic, as long as there was a connection there and it is funny, then it absolutely works. So yeah, overall, I gotta say, I am at like, it's been a while since I would think about a Broadway show that I would absolutely be hyped up for. But honestly, if there ever is a day that I go back to New York City, I would definitely be there to go and check out the Weird Al musical. And I know for now it is just called, let me see, like right now it's just called Dare to Be Stupid. But we'll see if the title does change. But honestly, I'm definitely excited to see what's going to be in store for this one. And with that said, now I would like to go and pass this on to the chat wall. And I want to go and ask you all, what do you all think about the Weird Al Jukebox Broadway musical? Would you guys be excited to go and check this out? Are you not as interested in seeing it? Let me know what you all think on that. All right, let's see now. I'm a casual Weird Al fan, and I could definitely see how this could be a solid idea, especially with some of the people involved, especially since they worked on both the Moulin Rouge musical and the Beetlejuice musical, and I'm excited to see how they handle the musical numbers. And I agree, I hope they can make this as crazy as possible. Make it as Weird Al himself. Just go all out on it. Exactly. I think ultimately, the one thing I ask from them is just, please do not hold back. Like, if you think, like, there is no, like, this is one of those cases where there is no such thing as too much, okay? Like, I don't think this is a case where even the younger generations are gonna look at it and say, that is a lot, okay? Try to make a lot a good thing in this case. Let's see now. First happy and now this. This sounds like a weird idea, and it's a great idea at the same time. This was not the first time that he does do something that is a musical. This just also in other media like UHF for that Beverly Hillbilly spoof done in a Queen musical style, and some musical songs from the Weird Al show for CBS. Let's just say at least it's so much better than the god-awful Diana the musical. At least they have great songs in the Weird Al musical going to happen, and the songwriters. Well, I mean, one thing's for sure, like, we know the songs are going to be great. They're freaking Weird Al music. I mean, there's like the fact that there's going to be a Broadway song. No, there's going to be a Broadway show where they're going to be singing Amish Paradise, like a full-blown Broadway production of Amish Paradise. Hell yeah, I'm down to go and check that out. Let's see. I'm not a Weird Al expert, but I am a fan of a lot of his songs, which are hilarious, and this sounds like a really fun and crazy show that I'll be interested in seeing more about. Bet Pinkie Pie is glad Cheese Sandwich is getting his own Broadway musical. Oh, definitely. Let's see. By the way, I'll be heading to the premiere for a Netflix show by the Duffer Brothers, and yes, Jennifer Lee's husband is the star. Ooh, nice. Awesome. Let's see. Well, surprisingly enough, there isn't a whole lot of other comments going on in the chat wall. So with that said, I think we will go on to our next break at this point. And when we do come back, we're going to go and have a grand finale, to which we got a big update with what's going to be happening with the Muppets. So stay tuned for that. And now, everyone, it is now time that we will go and conclude this episode off with the grand finale. And on this grand finale, I got some Muppet news for you all. Yes, definitely saved the big one for last, or at least the big one for me, at least. Now, there have been several different Muppet news that has actually occurred. One of which is actually the very unexpected crossover of the Muppets and Sesame Street, to which, believe it or not, even though they come from two different homes, with the Muppets being at Disney and Sesame Street now being on Netflix, they will be coming together as they are going to be part for the FIFA Finals halftime show, which will also be featuring Madonna, Shakira, and BTS. So that's going to be happening in mid-July, I believe. So if there's any reason you would be watching FIFA, at least there will be that. But at the same time, there is also another breaking news that apparently the extended cut of Muppets Most Wanted will finally be making its premiere on Disney Plus this June. Now, beforehand, it was only available on the Blu-ray of Muppets Most Wanted, but now it is finally going to be coming onto Disney Plus. But with that said, that's not going to be what I shall be talking about. What I will be discussing, however, is actually the biggest update from the Muppets of them all. And that is in regards to their next major project, which will be opening soon. And Disney has actually given us a preview of what's going to be to come. So first and foremost, let's go ahead onto the Disney Parks Instagram, where they shared this little video here.
Can you just, me, the VIP tour. Welcome, everyone. Don't worry, Kermit, the Mayhem will be there. Though I have no idea how.
And at the same time, they also presented this video right over here. And this is their most recent one as I'm recording this, which showed even more animatronics that will be part of this.
You know, this concert reminds me of a roller coaster. How's that? It's all downhill. Oh!
I didn't know they were going to be here.
Just don't understand why they even bought tickets.
We have time to go to the bathroom before the next song? We can't, you old fool. We're bolted to the seats. Oh!
So yes, folks, if that's not clear to you, then this is actually the big, well, not the big reveal, but a taste of the pre-show and the animatronics that will be featured in Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. Now, as you probably know, at Disney's Hollywood Studios, the Muppets are going to be moving their home because now with, unfortunately, Muppet Vision 3D no longer with us, which that area is going to be turned into the Monstropolis section at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Now the Muppets are going to be taking over Rock and Roller Coaster, which used to be featuring Aerosmith, but now the main band will be the Electric Mayhem. And what we just saw with those animatronics, by the way, that is actually showing what's going to be in the pre-show, to which there will be animatronic penguins. And of course, there is going to be a screen where we'll also see the Muppets doing their own crazy thing. But then at the same time, you got that animatronic of Scooter. And so far, it's been getting a lot of attention and especially a lot of love. And I'll just say right now, when I first saw that animatronic, when I first saw that video, I was just stunned because honestly, the work that the Imagineers have done is just immaculate. It is amazing, if not perfect. If you haven't seen it, and I'm talking about for those of you listening, oh my God, like honestly, they nailed the performance of being puppeteered. Like it almost felt like there was legit like a person underneath controlling Scooter. And even in this article here on Disney Park blogs, they even mention about the research and what they had to go and do in order to go and capture that performance. And they even showed a picture right over here, and it's actually Scooter wearing a mocap suit. Like we're talking about legit like the Muppet Scooter, and he's just got all this mocap going around. Like all the gear to go and actually prep up to be digitally registered. Now, I know this looks like a joke, and I mean, maybe it could be, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Disney Imagineers went onto that level in order to be accurate with the performance, where it even says here, you will be fully, sorry, I don't know why I'm tripping on my own words here, but, in which it says you'll be fully immersed in the story with the first ever audio animatronic figure of Scooter, brought to life using motion capture technology of Scooter the Muppet. Yes, the actual adorable Muppet you see in the photo above. By recording and tracking Scooter's performance, Walt Disney Imagineering was able to build and program a figure that looks, moves, and emotes exactly like Scooter should, right down to the small detail. And even when you do go back to it, like let me just go and okay, you don't, oops, sorry, let me just go and mute that. But we take a look at the Scooter performance. Like it is crazy how well they nailed it, that this isn't just like a regular performance, this is a Muppet performance. And not to mention, I don't know if you fully see it, okay, maybe not in here, but hold on, let's just keep on playing, but I'll see if I could capture it. Yeah, okay. Oh crap, no, you don't. Okay, so you don't see it on my end. Ah, schnut. I wish you can, hold on. I think I got a solution. I'm just gotta, oh schnut. Okay, I lost it. But anyways, anyways, for those of you who have seen the video, the thing is that you may have noticed in the animatronic, they also gave Scooter arm rods. Like, no joke, like you know, the rods that they would attach to the hands of the Muppets so that the puppeteer can like also perform so that they would be moving their arms. Like, they also included that on the animatronic. Like, they made sure that this Scooter animatronic, like, it doesn't feel like, oh, it's an animatronic that's bringing a Muppet to life. No. Like, it's legit. Like, if you want it to feel like this is a legit Muppet, that there's a puppeteer underneath, you want to capture exactly that. So it's honestly that little detail that honestly makes it great. And for me, you know what? Like, I'm saying it right now, this is Disney's best animatronic that they have put out this year. Yes, even more than the updated animatronics for Frozen Ever After. Like, I have seen posts and people saying that, oh, Universal is even beating Disney in terms of animatronics. Look at all the animatronics they've done in Monsters Unleashed and Dark Universe. Yeah, well, does Frankenstein and Dracula have arm rods on them? I don't freaking think so. Nah, I'm just fooling around. Like, I know though, like, the animatronics in Epic Universe are freaking incredible, but I gotta say, like, as a Muppet fan, I adore what Disney has done so far with the Scooter animatronic in Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. And not to mention also, since we did see the video of that, they also included Statler and Waldorf, in which if we do go back to it, let's just revisit that. Like, you may have, like, for those of you who have a keen eye, but like, I don't know if there is a confirmation or not, but this, like, I do believe these are the same animatronics of Statler and Waldorf from Muppet Vision 3D. And not to mention, like, of course, they also reuse, like, one of the jokes from the original ride. So still, though, seeing that come back is also great as well with Statler and Waldorf. So that's also worth mentioning. And by the way, just to go back into this, now there's already some things that we already do know about Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. Of course, it's not just going to be all the different Muppets that are going to be featured in there, but at the same time, they've also mentioned about the cameos that are also going to be featured. Since, yes, as you see here, Weird Al is indeed going to be one of them. He will actually be a part of the ride. So, wow, what a coincidence since we just talked about him. Yes, Weird Al will be making a cameo in the ride, but at the same time, we also got Wayne Brady that's also going to be featured. There's Yvette Nicole Brown. There's also Travis Barker. Not to mention Neil Patrick Harris is going to be there. We got John Stamos. We got Darren Criss, Danny Trejo, and of course Aquafina is also going to be there. And we even already got the songs that are also going to be featured, all of which will be played by the Electric Mayhem. And some will also have some guest stars there too. The songs that will be played while you'll be on the ride, you will have a selection of Song 2, and yes, this is a real song. It's Song 2 by Blur that will be performed by the Electric Mayhem this time. You also got Born to be Wild, which also features Camilla the Chicken. Then you got Love Roller Coaster, which will be featuring Jennifer Hudson and Questlove. You got Rock Rock Till You Drop, which will feature Def Leppard. And Walking on Sunshine, featuring Kelly Clarkson. And at the same time, even outside of the attraction, not only did it get a massive glow up with a more psychedelic look to it, But at the same time, Disney also revealed all the different posters that are going to be covering the area, many of which are inspired, of course, by the Electric Mayhem, with like you got some based on the members, like with Dr. Teeth, Animal, Janice, Floyd Peppers, Zoot, and Lips, while at the same time, like all presenting like, hey, it's the Electric Mayhem, they're coming to, coming in for one night only in concert and stuff like that. So that's going to help out with the immersion. And then at the same time, with all that going on, like, yes, you're going to be getting the ride itself, the animatronics, even a shop, of course, in which Disney did reveal a whole bunch of different merch that you could go and get there. They have also revealed that there's going to be a food area, not a straight up restaurant like what they used to have with Pizza Rizzo, but it's actually going to be a food stand, to which it is going to be called Food by Swedish Chef. Yes, finally, there's going to be an area that will honor the Swedish chef where you can actually go and get some food. And this is mainly a place where you're not going to go and actually get a legitimate meal, but this is an area where you could get Muppet themed stuff like snacks, like either nachos or like deep fried hot dogs and stuff like that. Or you can actually get some sweet drinks that are based on like Kermit, Miss Piggy, and stuff like that. Or you can also get desserts, like you could get an animal-themed churro there. So that's just all the different things that are going to be going on with the Muppets Mayhem. And for those of you Disney fans out there, expect more to come in terms of news and updates with what's going to be happening with Rock and Roller Coaster, considering that the official opening of it is actually going to be very, very soon, since it's actually going to be next week as I'm recording this, specifically on May 26th. So that's going to be next Tuesday that it's officially going to be opening. However, there's still going to be plenty of previews that are going to be happening. And in fact, you will be seeing clips of what's going to be in the ride starting on May 20th, considering that those who have access to the previews do have an embargo. So for now, the ones who do have access to the attraction are, of course, cast members, because they always have top priority. Then after that, you also got, you got cast members that are in there. You also got the press as well, of course. Then you also have annual pass holders that they're also going to have their preview time. And then there's also the Vacation Club members. So throughout this week, those people will have early access to Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. And I will say, as for me, it's definitely exciting to hear about more of these happening. And then finally, we're going to have, the Muppets will finally have a home again at Disney's Hollywood Studios. But I will admit I am a little bit conflicted. I don't know how to feel about, when the day would come if I would go back to Walt Disney World and then see Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. Because, I'm definitely excited to see the Muppets' new area. But if I may confess something, I'm not really a roller coaster guy. I'm not really that into these crazy Six Flags style roller coasters. For me, they've always been a little bit too intense. Now, I will admit that I have been working on it a little bit. I'm not going into the major crazy ones, of course, but in my last trip to Walt Disney World, I have developed more of the courage to go into some of the roller coasters that Disney World has to go and offer. I went to Big Thunder Mountain, and that was actually a lot of fun. There was also Space Mountain I finally did, and there were moments where they could get a little intense, where the G's can go a little too quick. And then there was also Guardians of the Galaxy, which that was intense for my level, but it was still pretty solid. Like, I'd be down to go back to that again. So, and I will admit, no, I didn't go on all of them. Like, I didn't do Expedition Everest. I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. But I will say, though, that with Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, like that one. Someone also mentioned Tron Light Cycle Run. Yeah, I also did that one as well. I loved Tron Light Cycle Run, though. Like, that's not that one. It doesn't feel that intense, but like you still get a good amount of exhilaration. So that's why with Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, I don't know, man. It's just like, I don't know if I'm ready for that level of intensity, because I know that with Rock and Roller Coaster in general, like that's always been one of the more intense ones. But man, I feel like when the day comes when I go back to Walt Disney World, I don't know when. It's not going to be anytime soon, of course. Like, it's going to be conflicting, because on one hand, Muppets. On the other hand, it's a freaking insane roller coaster. So in that regards, I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens, and maybe I'll develop the courage when the time comes. But for now, we got the, for now, I'll be excited to see how it will be on YouTube, like when those clips are going to be released. So yeah, I just thought I would go and just express that and express my feelings with what's going on with Rock and Roller Coaster. So now, with that said, I would like to pass this on to the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you all, how do you feel, or what do you think with what's going to be to come with Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets? And what do you think also with what they have in store with stuff like Food by Swedish Chef or the animatronics? I would love to know your opinions on all of that. All right, so let's see now. So far, I'm really impressed with everything they've shown in the Muppets retheming of Rock and Roller Coaster. I'm curious about the cameos and guest stars, and the animatronics of Scooter and Statler and Waldorf look incredible. And with Statler and Waldorf, I'm excited for this retheme. Also, with all this recent Muppet news update, I'm really hoping that the Muppet Show special will get picked up as a full series, hopefully being announced at D23. Honestly, I think it will. Like, out of all the announcements that are going to be happening there, that's the one that, honestly, I'm anticipating. And I mean, considering the great reception that the Muppet, that Muppet Show revival got, honestly, it would be a mistake for Disney not to go and do so. I'm hoping that they will actually do it. So yeah, hopefully it will occur. Let's see, what other comments do we have here? Let's see. I don't know when I went to Disney World. I did do Tron Light Cycle Run, Cosmic Rewind, and Expedition Everest, but I'm not sure if I'm ready for this one yet. Oh boy, you did Expedition Everest and you don't feel ready for Rock and Roller Coaster? Oh boy, I don't know what that says for me, but oh boy. Anyways, let's see. I'm scared of roller coasters too, but I would make an exception for the Muppets. It would be a missed opportunity not to experience that ride. It looks amazing, and I'm excited to see how they brought it to life. I know that this isn't everything they've shown so far, but I'm eager to find out if there's going to be more. The updates are incredible, and while it reflects its past, it also feels timeless and special, something that could be cherished for years to come. Oh yeah, I mean, with Rock and Roller Coaster, that in itself is always a timeless thing. It's just who is hosting it was the element that kind of feels a bit dated. So yeah, everybody knew that it was only a matter of time that Aerosmith was going to be replaced. So at that point, why not just have like something that's more timeless with the Muppets? So in that regards, it all works out, in which now with the retheme, it's going to make Rock and Roller Coaster a lot more timeless. All right, let's see what else we got here. The Muppets Return to Disney's Hollywood Studios is shaping up to be a great ride. While I'm not much of a roller coaster guy, this sounds fun. Whether it be how the animatronics are done, the song list, or the guests they have lined up, it sounds fun, even if I'm a tad queasy with roller coasters. Yeah, it's going to be the one ride that will be worth going to the trash can for to throw up. It's worth losing your lunch for. Okay, let's see. Just remember the fastest roller coaster in the US is at Universal Epic Universe with Stardust Racer. So this is still always lower than that one by a long shot. This roller coaster is about as fast as the How to Train Your Dragon roller coaster. So definitely research those. Okay, so at least that's going to be something. Yeah, honestly, like I definitely would love to go to Epic Universe. I really want to see the Mario area, and especially I want to check out Monsters Unleashed, of course, and the How to Train Your Dragon place. But yeah, I don't think I'm going to go to Stardust Racers, especially when I heard that unfortunately there was someone who sadly passed away on that ride. So the factor alone that it is a roller coaster, I'm just there like, nah, no thank you. But like, make everybody build up those lineups there so that I can have more time on the stuff that I want to do. Or distract everybody with that Harry Potter place as well. More time for me to go on every single ride in one day at Epic Universe, or at least the ones that I want to go. Let's see. Going to Florida in October, and you can bet your banjos I'm riding Rock and Roller Coaster. Sure, I know you're not a roller coaster fan, and the mansion is still waiting for you, JK. Oh, you still gotta go into that, man. Oh God, I still get like PTSD, like just looking out there, thinking of like the ghosts that are like, no pun intended, haunting me to this day. But anyways, hey, all joking. Like, I know the Haunted Mansion is a phenomenal ride. Like, I'm not taking that away from everyone. It's just too good at its job where it freaks me out a bit. Anyways, I'm personally still peeved over Muppevision getting kicked out. However, the revival of the Muppet Show would make me forgive them a bit. With Muppet, anyways, Muppet fans are always eating good. Oh yeah. Trust me, 2026 has been an amazing year to be a Muppet fan, because we got the freaking Muppet Show revival, which was amazing. And now we're also getting Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets, to which it will be opening at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World on May 26th. And with that said, that should do it for this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. Thank you all so much for watching, and tune in next time for more fun-filled stories that are going to be in store. So with that said, I would like to say, if you guys want more crazy adventures of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, then don't miss an episode and subscribe to the AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast YouTube channel and the AniMat Live Twitch channel. And at the same time, if you are listening to this on whatever podcast service you're listening to, whether it be on Spotify, Apple, Google, and many more, then don't forget to go and follow me there as well. And with all that said and done, I would like to say thank you all so much for listening. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, see you later, dudes.